This is Carl at National RV Detroit, and I'm going to walk through this 2021 Flagstaff Super Lite model 27BHWS, which stands for Bunkhouse Wardrobe Slide, I would think. Okay, so I'm just going to go through some of the features of the trailer very quickly. Obviously you have a power awning with an LED strip. You have an outside cooktop here. Alright, now this has to be, let me look underneath here. Let's see which style we have here. So this one has to be plugged in, as you can see. Here's the end of it. Hopefully you can see that. The sun's very bright. I can't see my monitor, but you plug it in right here. You look at that. That's our LP Quick Connect fitting. Hooks it right into the LP system. Okay. And there's a sticker right there also. This is a regular 110 volt AC refrigerator, so as soon as you plug in the trailer, it turns on. Okay. Steps, you can adjust the legs on the steps by pulling the pin right here out and just sliding them up and down to adjust to the terrain. Alright, you got outside speakers. This is a vent for your range hood, so if you're going to vent using the range hood fan, you can push up on these tabs. There's one on each side. They're kind of hard to see, but you can push them and the baffle will flap freely. You want to do that when you're venting, obviously, but when you're not, you want to click it back into place, like when you're traveling or in storage, that sort of thing. Okay, you can hang a TV here. You got power and signal. Now this hole here just tells us that there's inside here there's a crank. You see that's this bottom crank right here. That will fit on a shaft with a pin through it that comes through the frame. So you'd put it on there and you can crank the other slide out, the big one on the other side manually if you had to. So it'll take about 1,000 cranks, but nevertheless you can get it in and out in an emergency, okay? Your water heater is both gas and electric. Keep in mind that there's a switch right here, a rocker switch, that controls the electric heating element behind this cover. There's also a switch inside that does the same thing, so you got to remember there's two of them. Never run the water heater without gas in it, or I'm sorry, without water in it. If you turn on electric and there's no water in it, it'll burn out the heating element, which is not that big a deal, but it's an expense, you know. So always make sure there's water in it before you turn it on. Alright, this is a griddle here, this bottom piece, and that's the rack it hangs on. That hangs right on this rail right here, and it comes with a hose, and that one there's another quick connect here for this one, so you have to plug that one in also. You have power stabilizer, so you have one switch for the front and one switch for the back. So this one switch operates door side and off door side front jack, so you can see right there. Of course you don't lift the trailer with it, you're just taking the wiggle out of it. This is your hitch. It's a Husky centerline weight distribution hitch with built-in sway control. We'll show you how that operates when you pick up your trailer. Also the smaller crank right here is for the power tongue jack. If this was to fail, it's a power jack, but if it was to fail you can pull this plug out and put that crank on there and crank it manually. Okay. Also you got two 30-pound LP tanks with an automatic changeover regulator. You got two deep cycle marine batteries wired together at 12 volts, so it just doubles the storage capacity. It's still 12 volt. And this is the switch, the kill switch for the battery, that red key if you can see it there. That's if you're putting it in storage, for example, you could shut this off. But when you're traveling, you want it on so your tow vehicle's alternator will charge the battery. And when you're plugged in at a campsite or any place else, you want the power converter to charge the battery. So you always want it on when it's in use. Okay. This is just your dump hose here, and this is the 30 to 15/20 adapter. Okay, this is a 50 amp system. We give you a 30 amp adapter. I'll show you that in a second. Okay. Now this little wardrobe slide here, this is called a Schwintek. Just so you know, it's owned by Lippert now, but people still refer to it as a Schwintek. Just so you know what that is. This slide out, the one I told you could crank manually, is a Lippert slide also. I think it's called a 2x2. It's called a through the frame slide out generally. I think. No, it is. And so that's what this one is. Also, you have two gray tanks. This is gray tank number 2 right here, which is the galley tank. Okay. Then if we come all the way back here, we have gray tank number 1. There's the valve there, and the black tank, which is over here. So you always dump the black tank first because it's toilet water and waste, and then the gray is dirty water, but it's cleaner dirty water. It's sink and shower water, so it'll wash out the hose. Then, after you've done that, you come up here to the black tank flush right here. You hook your hose at the dump station right on there, turn on the water, and make sure the valve is open, the black valve is open, and it'll flush out the inside of your tank. It'll clean off the sensors. It's a good thing to do, okay? Your city water connection is right here. This is the most common way to get water to the trailer. Just hook the hose up and you're all set. Now if you're at a campground that does not have plumbing on the campsites, you can pre-fill your fresh water tank right here and use the onboard pump to pump the water. Also, this is for winterizing. You'll have to educate yourself a bit if you're going to do it yourself, otherwise you have it done, but that's the port for drawing antifreeze in. Okay, and cable and satellite through. There. This is a 50 amp cord, 30 feet long. But then you can see we've adapted it right here. You get this adapter with it. It adapts from 50 to 30, right? And then we have another one that I showed you up front that'll go from 30 down to 10 or 15/20. If you're packing at home or something and you need to have lights on and stuff, you can't run the air conditioner off of regular household current, but you can run everything else. All right?
Nobody's in there. Hey, Carl.
Okay, hold on. So you have a ladder. And that's a good thing because you want to, according to the manufacturer, you want to inspect the roof every 90 days. So somebody has to go up there, look at all the sealant, make sure there's no crack in your separation. If you do see something, get it taken care of immediately. Excuse me. Also, look at the roofing material, look at the vent covers, things like that, to make sure it wasn't scratched by low branches or road debris flipping up there on the expressway or anything like that. So just give it a good inspection, and if it needs work, have it done immediately. So this storage here, you can actually put small bikes in here. This bunk folds up, or bed folds up, so you can store bikes, small bikes, and whatever you want in there. Okay. All right. I know I'm going kind of fast, but there's a lot in this trailer, and I only have 28 minutes or whatever it is to do this. So okay, here's the. I'm going to shut this door a little bit here. Hold on. Okay, so here's your control panel. So you can see that your battery is totally charged. Fresh water is still full. We're still working on it. Black, empty. Gray, empty, and gray 2, empty. Gray 2 is the galley tank. It's for the sink up here. Gray 1 is for the sink and the shower in here. And of course, black is for the toilet. Okay. You have your 2 slide-out buttons. You have your power awning. Never leave the awning out unattended. Your lights here, and then you have, let's go this way, you have your water heater on electric. I showed you there's another switch on the lower left hand of the water heater, right? You have the gas lighting here. You can light the gas. Your pump to turn on the water pump if you're pumping water out of the tanks. You do that. Also use that for winterizing. For your tank heaters, you have heating pads on all the tanks, so it extends your camping season. You turn that on there. All right, and this is the Wi-Fi Ranger. So there's a paid feature for it where you have to buy a SIM card from whoever you get your cellular service from. We're not going to talk about that. We'll talk about the free service, which is a public Wi-Fi booster. So you turn it on here, give it a minute or so to warm up. Now you take all your device and all your family's devices, their phones and tablets, whatever, and you hook it up, or put this password in here. Or let me back up a bit. You'll look in your Wi-Fi and you'll see this Sky4 LTE 6954. That's you. That's this Wi-Fi Ranger. So you would add a password, and so it all hooks up automatically when you're inside. Then with a browser in one of your devices, go to this address here, which is the control panel for the Wi-Fi Ranger, and you can see everything the Wi-Fi Ranger sees. So you pick out the public Wi-Fi you want to go onto, and you log onto it right there. It's got, like I said, there's a signal booster. There's an antenna on the roof. It's got a good firewall built in, electronic. So it's impressive how well the bandwidth is expanded. So anyway, keep in mind the middle line here is your temporary password. Changed me now, and the number was 6954. So you're going to put your own password in there, okay? All right, so that's the Wi-Fi Ranger. Your sound and video is here. This plays CDs and DVDs, right? You got AM, FM radio. You got USB here. You have Bluetooth, so you can hook up wirelessly with your phone or tablets. And also, this is an HDMI in, so if you want to go into the system with like a game machine to keep kids busy on a rainy weekend or something like that, you could do that there. You have 3 speaker zones. 1 and 2 are inside the trailer. 1 is this room, 2 is the bedroom, and 3 is the outside speaker. Now, that's Z3, zone 3. So the reason I give you this button is because you can set the source and volume on the outside speakers separately from the inside. So you could be watching a video inside and listening to the radio outside, for example. So you would set the volume and everything like you normally would right here for the inside of the trailer, but if you want to do zone 3, you push the zone 3 button and then set the source and the volume. Okay. So keep that in mind. Also, I'm giving a quick look to see if I forgot anything. I think I got it all. It's got everything you need. You can play discs, you can stream, you got Bluetooth, and if you wanted to add on something, you can go into it right here. Okay. Your TV works like any other TV. Thing to know though is that right here, I don't know if you can see it. Let me see if I can get around far enough. Yeah, see there's a green light on. That should always be on when you're using the antenna. You can shut it off right there, right? But you want it on, and otherwise you won't get a good picture because it's the signal booster for the digital antenna. So you need to turn that on when you're doing that. Okay. Now, this device here is the power converter. It converts AC to DC power. So, right here you have a 110 AC. You got circuit breakers like you'd see at home, and they're all labeled, right? Then the power is converted to 12 volt DC over here. So you got 12 volt fuses, and they're all labeled, right? So basically, it's taking AC power, using what it needs, and then converting the rest of it to DC power. This also charges your battery. So when you're plugged in, it's going to sense how much energy your battery needs and always keep it charged up, or in this case, batteries. Keep them charged up, which is a good thing. Also, it's got a tinted plastic here, and if any of these fuses were to blow, you like to see it glowing through there. So, all right. Now this is the LP gas and carbon monoxide detector. It's green. It should always be green. If not, get it serviced. So if it goes off, it's detected carbon monoxide buildup or LP gas leak. You take everybody outside, shut the gas off at the front, and figure out what's going on. Right? If it starts beeping very slowly, it's telling you that your batteries are low. All right, so it's a low battery alarm also. So I'm going to put it through a test here so you can hear it. That's LP, that's good. Now carbon monoxide coming up. Good, and then low battery alarm. And back to green, okay? So like I said, if it goes off, you take everybody outside and figure out what's going on. Your refrigerator is gas absorption refrigerator, which means it will run on 110 AC or LP gas. All right. So the thing to know is this right now is on auto. Right. I can change it to strictly to gas by doing that, for example. But if I keep it on auto, it always seeks out 110 AC first. If it can't find it, it will automatically switch over to gas. Or if you have a power failure in the middle of the day or the middle of the night, whatever, it'll sense it and switch over to gas so you don't spoil your food. So auto's the way to go. You can also shut that beep off too. I can't tell you exactly how, but if you read the directions, it'll tell you how to shut it off. This device here is a thermistor. Like it says here, warmer down, colder up. So you want it pushed up as high as it can go, so it's always it's as cold as it can be in here. Now, that's 99% of the time you're going to have it like that. But if it starts to frost up, if it's getting fall or early spring out there, whatever, you might have to back it down some so it doesn't frost up. But keep in mind that you generally want to have it up all the way. Now this, they got this sitting here for some reason. This is the tray to catch condensation. Let me push this in. Yeah. So this, it's got a little drain here which drains into this cup here and then to the outside, so you don't, you know, the inside of your trailer doesn't get wet from condensation that's generated by the cooling process. Now this is a filter if you want to use it, a water filter, and here's a wrench for it. If you want to use it, it's the filter canister is by the water pump. The thing to know is that you need to, it only lasts one season, so if you use it after you, or right before you winterize it, you throw it out, and then after you de-winterize in the spring, you put a new one in. So it only lasts a season. Okay. Microwave works like any other microwave. Your range hood, like any range hood, you got a fan and a light. I told you about opening the baffle outside. Your range, you spark it using this button right here. So you're just going to go to light and then spark it right there. Very simple. 3 burners, 3 knobs. Then this is the oven. Now the oven's a little different. It's got a pilot light at the back, on the bottom all the way to the back. Maybe you can see it sparking if I do that. Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. But what you do is you go to pilot and then depress it and keep it depressed through the whole lighting procedure. Then you start sparking it. After it lights down here, you'll see that it's lit, and you'll continue to hold this in for another 10 seconds or so to heat it up. You go to operating temperature, it runs like an oven does. But when you shut it off, the flame goes out, but so does the pilot light, so you have to relight the pilot light each time you use the oven. Okay? This is a GFCI. There'll be 2 of them inside the trailer. All the plugs are wired through a GFCI, even if it doesn't have one, it's still wired through it. So if you, like the plug on the outside, for example, that's wired through here, so you'll reset it inside here. All right. Alrighty, so your table, you can fold it down. You push this lever to the right, it'll hear it click. Then you can fold the base up. It's got hinges on it, and it'll sit on these cleats here. Use the back cushion to fill in the space. Your hide-a-bed, you pull the cushions loose, right? Set them aside. Grab it at the bottom of the front cushion, or the front bottom of the cushion. You pull it out. 2 panels. Put the legs down. Drop the back into place, and you got a foam hide-a-bed, which is pretty decent. This is your thermostat here. Now there's 2 zones, but you only have you're only using zone 1 right now. The reason there's 2 zones is because this trailer is a 50 amp trailer, so it's pre-wired for a second air conditioner. So you can see this is where the second air conditioner would go, right here at this vent. So let me just look real quick here. Okay, and this right here is telling us that there's wires for a sensor for zone 2 behind here. So if you pull this out, you'd be able to fish and find the wires. So like I said, it's pre-wired. Okay, but anyway, just when you have to be in zone 1, then you're going to go through the system and the mode, pick out air conditioner. Try to always run it on fan if you can. And of course you got heat and all the normal things. It does say fan. Basically the fan is just the air conditioner running without the compressor. So, okay. Now, this is a water miser. Alright? So what it is a water recirculator. The idea is that when you're heating up water, hot water to take a shower, it doesn't just go down the drain. Number 1, if it just goes down the drain, you're wasting water, and number 2 is you're wasting space in your gray tank. Right? So if you put it like so, it will circulate around and around and around while it heats up. And after it heats up, this will turn a vivid, I think this one turns a vivid blue, but you'll be able to see it's dramatically changed color. Then you know the water's hot, and you go back to normal showering, right? So it recirculates the water around in a loop while it heats up. It's just a energy saving and water saving device. Your toilet has a flush pedal. The thing to know, here, let me get over here. Now we're not hooked up to water, so this is just residual pressure here, but the black tank is directly below. You can't use it with a dry tank without chemical. So what you do is you hook up your water and your power, you come inside, you got 1 dose of chemical, whichever brand you use, you'll put it right in the bowl, then you'll step here, water comes swirling out, go wash the chemical right into the black tank below, right? You stand on it long enough to put about 1 gallon of water in there. Some people use more, it's up to you. But the main thing is you have to have water and chemical in the black tank before you start using it, otherwise the smell will be, it'll be memorable anyway. You won't do it twice. So keep in mind that You always want water and chemical. Let's say you were going to stay another week and you had to dump your black tank because it was full. Well, then you would come in here and repeat the procedure. Chemical and a gallon of water, okay? You got a 4-speed fan, which is great. Also, you always want to remember to run the fan at least on one with the shower to pull the humidity out. Also, if it's one of those evenings, for example, where you're getting a lot of condensation from your breath and you got visitors over, don't hesitate to turn this on 1 or 2, and it'll pull all the condensation from their breath out, and you won't have any noticeable issues with it. So make sure you utilize that. All right, let me walk around and see if I forgot anything. I talked about this up here. Now there's storage under the bed, of course. And this is your wardrobe. Also, this is an extension for your counter, which clips right on here. Okay. Through here. Your remotes are here for your radio and TV, and your battery for your smoke alarm. This is all the literature for the trailers in that packet there. That's where you can find anything out. Also, don't hesitate to use manufacturers' videos. It's an excellent way to learn how to use them if you need to refresh your memory. So you can do that. Just about all manufacturers put these things out now. So, all right. So let's see what else we got. I'm just looking through everything here. Okay. All right. Let me look down here. Okay. All right. So anything else and any other questions you have, obviously we'll talk to you when you come to pick up your trailer. We'll show you how this works. We'll show you how the hitch works and everything. All right. So I want to thank you for purchasing your trailer here at National RV Detroit. Also, remember what I said about inspecting your roof. You want to inspect it every 90 days. Check all the sealant. If you're going to touch it up, like some years, sometime you will. That's why you're inspecting it, just to make sure you're on top of it. Never use stuff from the hardware store. Never use hardware store caulk. Always get the correct lap sealant for the roof from an RV place, and the correct caulk. This one would use Clear ProFlex, I believe. But get the stuff from the RV place. It's not the same as the stuff from the hardware store, and it's only a couple bucks more for a caulk tube. So, okay, thank you.